Hello and welcome to another episode of MOManger. I want to again express how important it is that people that are interested in having their children go into entertainment, what level it is that you decide you want to go into is very important. Last week I had a couple of guests that were very interesting, and again this week I have a couple of guests that are very interesting as well, and have a unique situation which I love dearly, not only because they're good people, but they're family. I call them family. They've been around us forever. And my first guest, his name is Marvin Floyd. He also happens to be the MD of my oldest daughter's band. And he has also been around the community in Glen Cove for years, playing in different bands, producing music, and just all around talented musician. He has recorded a Christmas album as well with my oldest daughter. So let's start off with an introduction to Mr. Marvin Floyd.
Hello, how
are you?
Hi, Tina, how's everything?
Good, good. First of all, you have a very talented young daughter.
Yes, I do.
And one of the unique things about this father-daughter relationship is that she has played with you.
Yes, she performed with me a couple of times, like on maybe 3 different occasions.
Gotcha. So tell me a little bit about Camille. Since she was young, she was very, very talented, and never, as far as I know, you could tell me different, but she never had experience where she had instructors that taught her how to play the piano. One of your instruments of expertise is the keyboards.
Yes, it is.
And I believe that from the time she was very young, she would listen to you, and somehow she just picked it up, because I never remember you mentioning she had lessons. So tell me a little bit about how you discovered Camille, and we call her Cammy, by the way.
Well, first time I realized that she had a gift, I was in the car and she loved Annie. So all of a sudden I hear somebody in the car singing in French.
In French?
In French. And I'm just, what are you saying? She said, "Oh, that's Annie, Dad." So then she's singing in Dutch, Danish, she's singing in all these different languages. The whole dialogue of Annie, from the movie, the DVD, from beginning to end, in all these 4 different languages. And I'm totally like,
amazing.
Then she's singing all these songs, and she was gifted. Right then I knew this child is gifted.
So in other words, you never sat her down with any type of a system or training where she learned any of those languages. This is something
she just did it from the DVD.
Wow.
She watched the DVD. They have all these different languages. Mm-hmm. She learned the dialogue from beginning to end in all these different languages and singing all these songs.
And what age was she?
She started this like at maybe 6 years old.
Wow, wow. So from then, you discovered she was talented.
Yes.
And where did it go from there?
She had the gift of music, and she had a gift of art. Her artwork was, my wife was handling her artwork and I was handling her music. So we was touring back and forth, but her artwork, she had art shows at the National Arts Club in Manhattan. She had Brooklyn Mikado Museum. She had artwork shows all over the place.
So when you say artwork, be more specific. Did she paint? Did
She's
she draw?
An artist. She drew her artwork. She has like maybe 60 to 70 pieces of art that she created. Selling artwork is phenomenal.
Wow.
You know, she had so many different things going on. Okay, which one are we going to try first?
Right. I remember Kincaid and I, Kincaid is my husband, we were home one day and he left and came back and he had this beautiful brochure. and it was very professionally done. And when I looked at it, I said, wow, this looks really interesting. Without even knowing who it was, I was like, wow, this looks really interesting. And then once I looked at it, because he was smart, he just gave it to me. He's like, I was like, wow, this is beautiful. Who is this? And he said, look close. And I looked, and it said Camille Floyd. And I was like, you have to be kidding me. And it was an exhibit that was, I believe, at the Art Museum in Manhattan.
Yes.
Correct.
National Arts Club.
Right. So does she sing it all, or is
She
it?
performed with me. She writes songs, and she wrote this piece, string part, flute part. I put some chords together, and we performed that at the National Arts Club. In front of Uma Thurman. A lot of people, a lot of celebrities was there.
A lot of celebrities. So, what does it take as a father? Because you're married as well, and it's just you and your wife and Camille, and she goes to school every day.
Yes.
She's in high school. She's how old?
It's 15.
15 years old. So I think at that point in your life, when she was younger, did you think about ever managing her, or did you think about getting her a manager, or did you decide between you and your wife you want to take it slow and see how it turns out and let her decide? Like, how did you decide what direction you wanted to go with Cammy and her profession? Because right now, I would say she's professional.
Well, we had to choose between her music and her artwork. Her artwork was taken off like crazy, so we decided to go with art. My wife handled the art. And then I said, well, let me just try. She came up with some songs she wrote, and I listened to it, and it was unbelievable. She wrote down the little notes, C, D, E, wrote down the notes, and I played it, and the melodies just kept coming out. And I'm like saying, this kid is incredible. I recorded some of her songs, her melodies, I have an upcoming CD, but I turned it in smooth jazz, but she has some great melodies, and I use them, and every time I do a song, I said, Camille, what do you think about this? About that? I don't like just because of this and this. I bounce everything off
So
her.
she knows.
She
has an ear.
She has an ear.
Okay.
She has perfect memory also. She can remember stuff that, photographic memory, reading stuff, she'll remember it. Word for word, everything. She's incredible.
Wow.
So all these gifts, I don't know which way to go with her, honestly,
So not only are you a proud dad, but you are also a dad that is supportive.
Yes.
And I see that in everything. And you might not have the necessary experience to take a career to a certain level, but you know where to go. So what did you decide to do between you and your wife, and I'm sure Camille had some input, what did you decide to do when one day you saw that she had this beautiful drawing? How did that work out? In other words, she had a beautiful drawing. What made you decide, you know what, I got to put this in an exhibit in a museum? Was it someone else? Did you have someone come in as part of your team? How did that work? What made you decide?
My wife said,
beautiful.
Let me handle this. She said she has a talent. I'm going for this. Everything framed.
And her name is?
Angela.
Angela.
My wife, Angela Floyd.
Love her.
She said, Bob, I want my daughter's work every place. She went full steam ahead with this.
Perfect.
Booked all these galleries, and she's just worked really hard for it. Okay, so she went, I said, well, now she had a talent for writing. So I said, well, let me try to get her to write songs and be a songwriter also,
right,
because she has that gift. And, I don't know if Camille, and I didn't know if she wanted to be a performer, but once I put her on stage, it just seems natural. She just was natural.
Which brings me to my next question. Obviously, you've been around the world and you've toured with various bands, and you're now working with my daughter, Ashanti. And I think at this point in your life, you have had enough experience to determine, I think it's about time that I move in a direction where I want to focus on my daughter and focus on some parts of her music. I remember And hopefully I can find a clip to show you guys of Camille playing the flute when she was very young. And she's always been talented, always been very smart. And I want to ask you, at what point did you decide, okay, she has the art over here, she writes music, and she could sing. Let me see if she could really sing. At what point did you say, I'm going to put her on stage with me? And when you did, what was the result?
Okay, talented, she auditioned for Annie first. She auditioned at Roslyn Playhouse out here. The producer's show said this girl could sing, talented. What song? I forget what song she sung. One of the Annie songs, but she really, and I was surprised. I heard her sing, and I was like, wow. Then after that, getting back to the question you asked about which way I should take her musically. I found out that for her writing, I recently, the last 2 years, I said, well, let me really concentrate on
this is writing songs. I just
writing
want to
songs.
Okay.
Writing songs. She's so creative. So I said, well, we're going to really pursue your career right now in music. I said, I want you to perform a show with me. One of our dear friends, Nick DeLeo, had passed away, and Nick was so dear to Camille, and she wanted to do a tribute. So we did a tribute, and she did a solo that I don't know where it came from, but the crowd went wild over her, and she just, I was so proud of her, because I don't know, it just came, her feeling,
it came through. And did you videotape that? Do you have a clip
Yes, I
of
do.
that?
I have a clip of that.
Perfect. Audience, I'll be glad to show you a clip of Camille in action, but better than that, I'm going to have Miss Camille come on herself so she could explain to you guys what it felt like to perform with her dad for the first time. I'm hearing how her dad felt. I'd like to hear from Camille. So tell me the feeling that you had after the performance, because I remember seeing a clip of a performance downtown Glen Cove, and your brother, who we call Bossy, happens to be a member of Ashanti's band as well. And your brother, the look on his face and what he said to the audience brought tears to my eyes. But then when you came on after the show was over, and the hug and the embrace that you guys had was so genuine and so sincere, I always said if I ever get a chance to showcase that I would. So tell me, what were you feeling during that time?
I was so proud of her. I was in tears.
I was in tears. So
she just never ceased to amaze me, and it was beautiful.
That was the first time,
That
correct?
was the first time. It was so beautiful, and I just couldn't believe it,
He's
And
tearing up now.
even
I'm
thinking
not
about
trying
it now.
I'm not trying to embarrass you, but
I love her, man.
Yeah.
She's just so blessed and so gifted, and she plays from the heart.
Yeah.
Everything she does from the heart and the spirit, and it's something to be proud of. I'm so proud of her.
Absolutely. And I just want to let the audience out there know that you might have a child, or you might have a nephew or a niece, or you might have a good friend that has a child that's talented, and you just don't know where to go. You don't have any influence, you don't have any guidance, and that is what my idea was, to come up with something and some kind of a vehicle so you would get some guidance as to how to start, or if you're already in, how to continue in a direction to help one of these children, to help a teenager, to help a young child get into the business and understand, more important, what it takes. There's a lot of emotion involved. There's a lot of rejection involved. There's a lot of happiness. You're elated one day and the next day you're sad, but that is a part of the business, which in actuality is a part of life. So that's what this MOManger show is about. And I'd like to thank you, Marvin, for coming by and sharing
pleasure.
Your story with us. It was very, very emotional. And I'd like to take a moment to talk to Camille. So thank you again.
Thank you so much.
And she'll be coming up, and we'll be right back. Thank you again. Welcome back to MOManger. I would like to introduce a guest today that I've known since she was a baby. And she inspires me. And I think that any child that has any kind of talent, that has the ability to reach a lot of people, dozens of people, thousands of people, and is gifted, should be showcased. And that's exactly what her mom and dad does. Now, we spoke to her dad, Marvin, and now we're here with Camille Floyd. How are you?
Good.
Good to see you. Thank you for coming by. So I want to ask you something. Have you always loved music?
Yes.
Really? So tell me a little bit about your playing. Do you like to play keyboards best? Because I understand you play keyboards and you play the flute.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about that.
I like to play the flute better than the keyboard because I'm not really good at the keyboard, so.
Not according to your dad. What inspired you to play the flute? Because I know for a fact, both my daughters, when you first go to middle school, you get a form, they ask you to join the band, and then they say, what instrument do you want to play? And it's like, do I get the best instrument before someone else gets to it? So
Yeah.
what kind of guided you in the direction of the flute? Versus the trumpet. Like, there's trumpets, there's trombones, there's drums. Like, why the flute?
Because it's lighter and it sounds like better.
Yeah, it has a little bit of femininity to it as well. It's kind of, I'm not going to say anything because I know a lot of guys that play the flute and play them well. But I also know that my daughters played the flute. She had played the clarinet.
I started out playing the clarinet, actually.
Did you?
Yeah. And then I switched to the flute in 5th grade.
Got you. So what do you like about the flute? Do you like playing up-tempo, mid-tempo, ballads? Like, what kind of music do you like to play on the flute?
Kind of like mid-tempo and ballads, I guess.
Oh. Do you have a favorite song?
No.
You don't? So you just like to play it all, whatever inspires you, whatever you feel?
Yeah.
Got it. My next question is a question I've always thought about, and I asked the same question to your dad, and I'm going to ask you now. You played with your dad for the first time a little while ago, right?
Yes.
And what was that feeling like? Because all along he supports you, correct? In everything you do, in your art, in your music, and playing the flute, and so does your mom.
Yes.
But you played on stage with your dad.
Yes.
What was that like?
It was fun, actually. And yeah, it felt kind of weird because usually when I'm on stage, it's like for a concert at school or something, and it's like a lot more people.
It's different.
Yeah.
This time it's you solo with your dad.
Yeah. And there's like, other people that are like.
So the pressure.
Yeah.
Was it a little pressure on? Like, I want to be able to accomplish my goals. I've been rehearsing with Dad.
Yeah.
I want him to be proud of me. I don't want to make a mistake. Were those the kind of things that were running through your mind?
Yeah.
Got it, got it. So after the performance was over, did you have a sigh of relief where you, I'm glad it's over, or I did it, or a combination of both? Tell me about that.
Yeah, it was kind of like both of those feelings. Yeah.
Good. All right, so I'd like for you to tell the audience also, at what age did you start thinking that this is something I want to do? Was it early at 5, 6, 7, or did you get in middle school and say, you know what, I want to do this?
I guess like I knew that I wanted to do it when I was like younger, like 5 years old, and like I started doing it. But then I guess like earlier in my freshman year, I kind of established, you know, this is what I want to do, and I kind of like set my ground, like, and said this is what I want to do and nothing else, just this.
Perfect, perfect. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, a young lady at 15 years old that knows exactly what she wants to do in the music business. Now, Marvin, you and your wife have guided your daughter in this direction, and she does art, she does music, she plays instruments, she sings. Those are multiple talents. So one of the things that I know the people out there want to know is, how do you decide what talent to go after? Because some people will say, I want to go after the talent that's going to make me the most money. Some people will say, I want to go after the talent that I know that she loves and that she's going to prosper at. And whether or not she makes money, I don't care. And some people will say, I really don't care. I'm just going to pick one out of a hat. And whichever one it is, that's what we're going to do. But I'm going to go full throttle with that. So what made you decide, or have you decided, what direction that you want to go with Camille?
Well, Camille is Camille's choice on what she wants to do. And all I could do is be 100% behind her choice. You know, I don't want to force her into anything that she doesn't want to do. It has to be her choice. And we'll have whatever she chooses, because she's multi-talented. Whatever one she chooses, I'm 100% in the corner.